Evocative Media, the real voice of Faversham. Welcome to Faversham Voices.
Hello, could you introduce yourself?
I'm Nelly Wade, I am now. I was born in October the 28th, 1917. I started in Ospringe Street, not next door to the Anchor, with my gran one side and my parents, mum and dad, the other side. And mum and dad there, my gran there, and the Anchor there. So it was a little cottage like, but the other wings was all proper houses. Our side of the street was next door to us was a barber for me, you know, Russian pay. And then next door to that you went further up, and then you had what was Hampshire's place. They made the bread and cakes and stuff there, and then the shop did not onto it, a proper little shop. It was lovely. Hampshire, his name was. He had a daughter called Nora. So there, next door to that was a pub. I can't remember the name of it. And then you had houses laid back. And a lot of old ladies lived in there. Butchers, his name was Butcher, Savile. And then on the opposite side, it started off where Whitings had made things go round graves. I can't think of the name. You know, they stand up and your name on the ground there, graveyard for. And next door to that was a policeman's house. There was other people who lived down there. Joyce Tumber, Mackenzie's, Lloyd's, what's the other man's name? Mackenzie, Lloyd's. Oh God, I don't know. And then next door to that, you had a telephone shop, post office, got it, next door to that. And then you came down the street, and next door to that was on the end house. A man had a shop there. It sold all saucepans and stuff for the hot pickers. That shop was. Then you come to a butcher shop called Creed's. And then next door to that was a coal yard. And Rux was his name. And then next door to that was, next door to him was Nicholson's. They was a hot pickers, and he took the old hops, what you left up there on the line. He was that. And then next door to that you had the ship. And then as you come down from where we lived, you had Jack Barber. His mum and dad run a shop. One sold with sweets, and the other sold there was all toys. And then you come to another row of houses, and then you come to Choirs. They was a big shop, massive big shop, and they sold everything. And then if you turn the corner, you got Walter's Lane, and you walked up this side, and through there was Walter. You went straight up the lane, and you come to Ospringe School. That was lovely. We wrote on slate from the roof, flat there, and you got a slate pencil. So whatever that was, you had to write. Then you wiped that off, and then you turned it over, and you had a slate pencil. Never had proper books and that to write in. Then you went further along, and you came to a farm, and all the cattle and that was all there, cows, sheep, chicken, and and then you come to the church, Ospringe Church.
How did you get to school?
I went to school in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. I never learned to walk till I was 5 years old, and my dad and my grandma, they learnt me to walk. They used to take me, down the garden or, little walk somewhere. And they said, there, but I never learned to walk properly till I was 5 years old. But after that, I began to get about better. But later in life, I had to have the trolley that I have to push around. So it's been a bit difficult, but I've managed.
When did you leave Ospringe?
I moved from Ospringe when I was 8 years old. So I had to leave Ospringe and we moved to the Brents, facing the creek. And that's where we stopped. My dad, he worked in the powder mills over at Putney Ferry, and that blew up in 1916. There was 110 killed there. But I found my dad 3 days later in a field. A man was going to visit the place, see what it was like, and he sees something burning in this field. And he went to see what it was my dad. He had a burning log from his knee up to the top of his legs there. And a burning log there. He lost half this side of his jaw. He got no jaw there whatsoever. That blew out, 3 broken ribs, and his eye was slightly injured. And they took him to the Mount. And they turned that then into a hospital. Before that, it was an orphanage for little children that had been left. And then when the first war broke out, they took all them to Canada. And then they turned that into a big hospital. Now they've turned it into flats. So he got on, but he was very, very nervous. A very nervous man. He had a little shop along the front Brents, and he sold everything, what you would buy in a shop. And he lived there, and next door to him was his sister and her husband and her little children. And then we all lived there together. And along the front Brents, my dad had 4 would buy in a shop. And he lived there, and next door to him was his sister and her husband and her little children. And then we all lived there together. And along the front Brents, my dad had 4 sisters, one behind the other, and they lived there. And then you went further along and you come to the Albion, another pub, and then they was all right. And then next door to that was my dad's old shop, and he had to give it up because of the rats. When the boat came up the creek, corn, another south, and they had a feed there. Then they came across and he all the base of the shop. So my dad had to leave there, and he got the shop further up along the front. And then all along there you've got houses. They only got two up and 2 down downstairs rooms.
Did you go to Daventon School?
Yeah, I went to Daventon School. That was a lovely old place. They learned we had books there, books and pencils there, but not before.
What did you do when you left school?
I helped my dad in the shop, and then I went to Smantley. And we went there and we had fruit, cut that up and spat up that and put it in these big glass jars. And then we done vegetables and all stuff like that. And like the black currants and all stuff, you had to cut it off the stalks, but put no leaves or anything in it. That's what I stopped there till I got fed up with it. So I went and done about my dad there, back down in the shop. We worked from 7:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock when we was coming through the Faversham churchyard. Through the church there. And then we had 11pence, 3 farthings an hour. You worked all the hours you done. It was all right. You had your friends. I had a lady came here to have a room, and she said, come across, she said, I know you. I said, do you? She said, yeah. I said, where do you know me? She said, me and you was at the table, cutting up the fruit. And the shipyard there, down there, and the man, about 4 doors up from my dad's shop, he was the builder down there, and he done the Nellie. That was a steamboat, and when the boats, whatever, couldn't get up properly, he towed them up to where they got to go, and they opened the bridge where you came across from the town over to the Brent. They opened that, and then the water was up there, and they went up there to where they got to go. Dutch boats, the shipyard people got there, another big boat, and they had timber. There was a big timber yard, and then there was another yard further down that done the corn, and further down there was a big jam factory. And from the bridge there to the timber yard, that was open, and they brought the fish boat up. Well, they didn't call them fish boats, they called them smack. And they came up at certain times, and people would be standing there waiting for basins and buckets. And they'd have all sorts of fish, mackerel, flatfish, herrings, you name it, they got it. And you told them what you wanted, and they got it and filled the bucket up, and it cost you 6pence. Then you had, on the Sunday, the Gregories. They were the big fish people, and they used to come round with a basket, and he'd come round and knock on the doors and see if anybody wanted them. You got winkles, shrimps, everything. You know, a small fish, and he measured it out and give him the basin. That was 6pence. These used to go to my dad's, and of a Sunday for tea. They'd have winkles and goodness knows what.
So the basin was near the end of the creek. What else was there nearby?
There was a big skate park there, because I made a film of the big hockey team what went there to train, and the officer was my cousin, and he trained there, and they was champions of the world, and I had to give a description, and they made a film of it, and then that was there, that's it out there, and boats and I don't know, rents are full of stuff, pubs. A big, called the Coffee Tavern, and they made all the coffee. God, the place used to reek of coffee. And that closed, and they turned that into a big house. The officer, what was a fireman, when my dad in the powder mills, he lived it there. He survived, the officer, and the other officer survived and lived it just opposite the road here. Foley, his name was, and the other one was Scott. Yeah. And our captain, as I used to call him, his mum and dad lived 2 doors up. It was my dad's mum's sister, and that was her son. That was the captain. And the other officer, what he got with him was Moon, his name was, and he married the daughter, the sister to Jack. So they was all right. And in the summer, my dad made ice cream. Gosh, you couldn't move along the front rooms. I was all waiting for ice cream. And the dog Cornford, was Jack's sister. She brought the piano out, and my dad's sister, Millie, she played the drums, and God, she could play. And then there was 2 ladies played mouth organs, and on the bridge you couldn't move, and they what didn't move there, they brought their own little stools and all sitting on the grass facing the creek, all that, and they went down the Albion and got the shandy or whatever it was, come back and drank that, and then my dad made the ice cream and cornets, and they was penny cornets, and then they went right up to 6pence.
Can you remember the bombing?
And we had an indoor shelter, and they used to take 2 little girls, 2 oldest ones, and get under it. And I said, well, where have I got to go, Dad? He said, get in the cupboard. I couldn't get under there. He got under there with them.
Did you see the bombers?
Because you didn't know, you could hear them, but you didn't know where they was going. And they dropped bombs in St Mary's Road, and I was here in the street there. If you go up to the corner with a house there, and the man and woman had just left it, and he left 2 little girls, what was servants, sitting on the stairs, and he hit it and killed both of them and knocked the house down. There was all books of rubbish over in the road. They killed them, and a lot of people went there, and then they tried to bomb another one at the factory. Well, what was a factory then? That had gone, and they tried to bomb it but missed it. And then they went another one in Orr, and where another factory wasn't working, and there was 2 sisters there, and they dropped the bomb there, and it blew up, but didn't kill them. But they were terribly burned, their faces and chests, from there up. They got no air at all. And if they went up the street, people used to call them over. But after, they didn't take any notice of it, because they were still alive and the others had died.
Did you work during the war?
No, I didn't work during the war because I had the 2 little girls. So I didn't work. I lived with my mum then, because my husband had gone to Woolwich. He was a fireman up there. I just worked for Dad. I stopped there. I didn't go anywhere because I had the 2 killed him. So I didn't go anywhere. I just lived there.
What did you think of the rationing?
Oh God, that was awful. That was, you only had 2 ounces of this and a little bit of that, and only certain rations, 1 egg, and some of that, and the vegetables, well, I fed the kiddies. I had to make shift with what was left. You couldn't take it away from them.
Was there any entertainment?
The kiddies swam in the creek. All the kids, no of the 10, the creek was full of kiddies, all swimming.
What has changed in the town?
They got, different buildings and shops and stuff there now to what they were. It's all different. Yeah, they're there, over there, on that corner over there was a called Copper and Lawrence, and they saucepans, kettles, everything, you name it, what you would want in your home there. Next door with the labour book, and then next door to that you had a men's clothing shop, and then next door to that you had a sweet shop, then you had the paper shop, and on the corner there they had for mending cars, tyres and all that in there, for cars and bikes and motorbikes, it's all there. That's there, but that's all gone now.
What do you like about Faversham?
And look around, used to like going round and look at all the shops, see what they got. Then West Street, they had a Jackson's the fish shop down there, and another place where you went in and got saucepans and goodness knows what. Then you had Johnson's. They helped the shops, not my dad. You went there and then the alleyway to the office there, and you give them a letter to child, say what you wanted, and can you come and get it? And then you took a trolley and truck then they were, and you went in there and you clipped it up, and the front of it was another massive great shop. Not quite so big as Tesco's, but it was a beautiful thing. And Tesco's, where it is now, was Shabbos, isn't it? Yeah, Woodlands Brewery. And my granddad worked in there, my dad's dad. He worked in there, in the brewery, there. Pictures, that's it, picture place. That was up Preston Street. And sixpence to go pictures, and then they have a break in between, and then they come round with sweets, different packs of sweets, a penny. And then they had after that there was a lady came round and swam the air and all scented stuff, right? And they kicked outside me and that, done down the gangway and said, I didn't get any. And she swayed all the girls with this spray. And then you had another old man, he was called Chucky Charlie. And he was a little old man, and he used to come round and say, right, it's time to go. Anybody had anything, kicked up a row in there. He'd march on either side. They said, well, we've just paid to come in. He said, you've had it. Yeah, up Preston Street. There was one big place there with pictures. That's it, the gym. Right. And there was another one, wedding, gospel always. Where we get to church. Now, straight up there, and there was another picture house there. That's it. And then after that, they took the picture house away and turned it into a Catholic church. The Mayor of Faversham, he came round and he had 2 or 3 ladies dressed in their crinoline clothing. And I was in the College Hospital then, and he came round and he shook hands and he said, how are you, and all this, that and the other. And he said, yeah, I've got a present. And it was a little orange bag. You unzipped it, like that, and there was a card in there, and some biscuit sweets or something was in there. And I still got it. I kept it. So, funny old times when you look back.